Welcome to Creature Kind Live. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ethan. We're going to be going over animal news from around the world, from prehistoric to present, and take a look at some interesting animal videos. So, put up the first video.
This is interesting. We're not showing up on YouTube.
Okay, well, or should we wait?
Well, yeah, let's give it a second because I'm trying to figure out why it's not showing up. That may have been it. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, so we're on.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on here. Seems to be a black bear messing with the tunnel. Oh, he's carrying it. I wonder why. This is strange. He just well, okay, obviously he wanted something to chew on. That's funny. So I'm guessing this is in some part of the eastern United States. Maybe somewhere like Missouri, judging by the overall like topography of the landscape or how the elevation is, and also by the different like, deciduous trees in the area. Could be slightly further north too. So it's just a white-tailed deer doe and her fawn. So I'm guessing this. Oh, whoa! It's a white porcupine. Looks like that individual was somewhat from the fox and the hound. And here's I'm not sure if it's the same black bear or a different individual. We definitely found the trail camera. Wait a second. Is this footage from other areas of the United States? Because that's a wolf, and looks more like somewhere in Minnesota.
I think it's just
Okay, this
somebody
is
spliced together a lot of trail cam footage.
yeah, this is over somewhere in the western United States. Because here we have an elk and was that ponderosa pine or another type of tree. And here's a not a fisher. It's a close relative. It's not hitting me at the moment. There's a white-tailed deer doe, and there's a buck behind her. I wonder what time of year this is. This looks like it's probably somewhere in the eastern United States, but further north. So maybe some part of Maine or New Hampshire. It's possible it's some part of Minnesota. It's just a bit hilly, but I don't know. I think it might be a bit more northeast. Oh, there's a sandhill crane. That's good to see. They do make their annual
It
migrations
looks so
from
peaceful,
more northern part of the United States to further south. Certain parts of Canada too.
but it's just peaceful.
Yeah, it does.
Nobody's here to eat me. Oh, wait a minute, I'm here.
This red fox, he looks like it could be somewhere in the northeastern United States. This looks like a wolf over in some part of the west, or maybe Rocky Mountain region. Could be the Cascades. I'm guessing maybe some part of Idaho or Montana. I don't think Canada. Very possible, though. You do have certain similar ecosystems over in southern Canada. Like if you're looking at Ontario, it can be somewhat similar to certain parts of Michigan or Minnesota to an extent. Or you're over in certain parts of Quebec, it can look quite similar to maybe even Maine. And if you're over in different parts of North Dakota, then it's going to look similar to different parts of southern Saskatchewan and possibly even Manitoba. And then Alberta and British Columbia do share similar ecosystems with northern Washington state as well as Montana and Idaho. But moving to the first article from Sci News. Giant Triassic ichthyosaur found in Nevada desert. So this is a bit of an older article, but I don't believe I did a video on this. Paleontologists have described a huge new species of ichthyosaur based on a 244 million year old fossil found in the Nevada desert in 2010. This seems to be a pretty good skull structure. Um, the ichthyosaur called Thalatercon saurophagus, which means lizard eating sovereign of the sea, was found in what is today Fabric Canyon in Augusta Mountains, Nevada. Most of the creature was preserved, including the skull, parts of the fin, and the complete vertebral column to the tip of the tail. Let's see. I'm wondering if they're going to give us a bit of a clue or, well, um, bit of an insight as to what specific family of ichthyosaur this animal belongs to, considering there's quite a variety of different families of ichthyosaur. And then obviously a lot of different genre that come with those families and species. So, Thalattoarchan is an early representative of the ichthyosaurs, a group of marine reptiles that lived at the same time as dinosaurs and roamed the oceans for 160 million years. Was it that long? I believe it was a bit shorter. They first evolved somewhere around 235 to 240 million years ago during the early Triassic period, and then mysteriously went extinct around 90 to 95 million years ago towards the beginning of the late Cretaceous period. It was about 28 feet or 8.6 meters in length, had a massive skull and jaws armed with large teeth with cutting edges used to seize and slice through other marine reptiles in the Triassic seas. So this is not a normal component when it comes to ichthyosaurs. Which is quite fascinating considering I'm looking at this animal originally and I'm thinking, at the beginning of the article, this animal does not look like a simple ammonite feeder. So the shelled relatives of squid that it would have existed in the Mesozoic oceans, and or even going after smaller species of fish, smaller species of squid. And this animal looks like it's capable of taking on other animals maybe close to its size in the region. This is not a common characteristic in ichthyosaurs. They tend to be viewed as almost docile, harmless creatures. This animal looks like it will eat you. So let's
Well,
see.
that's not nice of it.
Um, no,
I don't wanna be eaten.
especially to the swimming mammals at the time. Well, which were mouth sized. So let's see. Um, because it was a meta predator capable of feeding on animals with bodies similar in size to its own, Thalattoarchon was comparable to modern orca whales. Yeesh. I don't believe it's going to have the bite force of modern orcas. I would guess maybe somewhat similar to the earlier large whales, like back in the Eocene epoch, around 35 million years ago, with animals such as Basilosaurus. I do wonder, but this is a 28 footer. So I'm not entirely sure. Possibly even less than the Basilosaurus by force.
So he's 8 feet larger than Jaws.
That Jaws was like 30 feet.
Oh, I guess it said 25.
Hmm. Well, or maybe close to the Gustav the crocodile. Only 8 million years prior to the appearance of Thalattoarchon, a severe extinction at the end of the Permian period killed as many as 80 to 96% of species in the Earth's oceans. The rise of a predator such as Thalattoarchon documents the fast recovery and evolution of a modern ecosystem structure after the extinction. Every day we learn more about the biodiversity of our planet, including living and fossil species and their ecosystems. Let's see. Oh, well, so let's pull up a picture of a Shoni. Let's pull up picture of a Shoni source. So Shonisaurus. So this is also one of the largest groups of ichthyosaurs to exist. So these animals could reach well over 80 tons. So they were larger than humpback whales in many instances, definitely much longer. Um, is this thing from Dinosaur Train? No, it says
No,
Jurassic
it's
World
yeah.
Evolution. Okay. Yeah, I would have been much
Hold
more,
on, I'll look more.
might have been pinkish if that were true. But this is a member of the Shastasauridae lineage of ichthyosaurs. Now, if you want to look up another group of ichthyosaurs, I can't think of the one that
Hold
specific
on.
species belongs to.
Alright, let me put this one up.
Not the Shonisaurus, but the Latotrachon that we were talking about. Okay, so yeah, this individual definitely looks like it's capable of taking on larger species of, well, relative to most ichthyosaurs' body size. So maybe going after, animals that can reach over 13 feet in length or over 4 meters.
Still has a very narrow jaw.
It does, but it definitely has very protruding teeth. And it also has a very symbolous spondylus, or this is an somewhat early ichthyosaur tail shape. And they didn't evolve the more common stereotypical tail structure of ichthyosaur. So I guess just look up Ophthalmosaurus. So Ophthalmosaurus. Now
Thank
the
God you're
individual
spelling it and I still misspell it.
Yeah, the individual that I'm talking about is about average size for ichthyosaurs and also belong to Ophthalmosauridae or the Ophthalmosauridae family of Ichthyosauridae. So this individual existed over on the coast of England around 100 and somewhere between 155 and 160 million years ago during the late Jurassic period. It wasn't anywhere close to different species of more commonly known dinosaurs on land like Allosaurus or Brachiosaurus. You could say it's somewhat closer to a certain Allosaurus species over in Europe, but there weren't any Allosaurs over on the islands of the British Isles or places like Britain and Scotland at that time.
Oh, wait, somebody drew one. Hold on.
Okay, so yeah, this is from Walking with Dinosaurs, which is still, I mean, it's a very well done model. And yeah, they really haven't changed too much. Maybe they've added a bit of length or slight bit of skin or just overall flesh to the tail. But outside of that, maybe even a bit of a wider dorsal fin. This is a pretty good model. Ophthalmosaurus probably still weighed at least somewhere around what's over 500 pounds or pushing well over 340 kilograms. So
Wait, this is interesting.
this individual, which many, at least those that associate with ichthyosaurs, tend to view them as, and they had very thin and narrow snouts, very also small teeth compared to their overall skull structure. So they were just probably feeding on smaller species of ammonites at the time, different species of squid, and the smaller species of fish, unlike certain larger species of ichthyosaurs, and even the one that was discovered, which that animal was possibly a threat to other species of ichthyosaur, and not just other, maybe even species of what? I wonder if the nothosaur. No, the nothosaurs, I believe, already had gone extinct because they were only around during the Triassic period.
Okay, that jaw is a little thin, isn't it?
For certain ichthyosaurs, not necessarily. I do think there's something a bit off about this model. I don't know what specific species this is trying to replicate. I think the teeth, though, might be a bit exaggerated for its overall, especially mouth structure. Though I will say one peculiar thing when it comes to ichthyosaurs is that they have very large eye sockets compared to their body size. So this might have allowed these animals to have extremely good nocturnal vision or night vision. Okay, guess we can see if there was anything else left in the article, unless that was it. Oh, okay, there is a little bit more. So the new find characterizes the establishment of a new and more advanced level of ecosystem structure. Findings like Thalattoarchon help us to understand the dynamics of our evolving planet and ultimately the impact humans have on today's environment. What? How does an ichthyosaur help uh, people figure out things about people? If anything, that maybe I should try a certain type of squid if it's preserved in their bellies. But it tends to be often that younger ichthyosaur individuals are found preserved within many um, ichthyosaur specimens, especially specimens coming in from Germany, England, possibly certain parts of France or Belgium. But those were the pups of the mother. I Anyway, that's just funny. But it's good to see that this type of a predator existed within the ichthyosaur family. So let's head over to the next video. Actually, one thing I want to check out real quick before we go. Um, only 8 million years prior. Hold on a second. Is this like at the B? Oh, it didn't hit me. Okay, so 244 million years ago. This is like one of the earliest species of ichthyosaur to exist. I wonder if there's been a change in the time zone. That is very early on. Um, that's at the very beginning of the Triassic period. Interesting. I'm definitely going to look into him a bit more. Now let's head over to the next video. Okay, who do we have here? Say Yukon? Hmm. No, certainly possible. It seems to be spruce around. It's okay. So yeah, black bear mother and her two cubs. Maybe they're yearlings. Eh. Here's a shaking white-tailed buck. That's funny. Oh, it's the same fox. He's really interested in the camera. Here's a doe. I guess a couple of fawns. I think so. I think they're both spotted.
Uh,
Yeah. Wow.
Why is that
Just a couple
camera
of
looking at
twins.
me?
So I guess they were found earlier or they were born earlier that year.
But why does the camera keep looking at me? I don't understand.
I don't think this is the Yukon. This is much further south. This actually might be some part of either eastern Canada or maybe somewhere in the northeastern United States.
Toot
Oh,
toot.
well, okay. These guys probably not the northeastern United States. Certainly is
Wait, look,
possible. There's wolves
look.
over there.
Uh,
Yeah, you found it. Hey, there he is again.
He just looks so cute. I don't wanna touch him, but
Yeah. Well, they're running from
run,
something.
run. Uh,
Huh.
okay.
It's a
Sh There's a whole
small herd
herd.
of whitetails.
Wait,
Okay, he seems to
he's
be completely relaxed unless he's injured. Or she.
no,
Males and
they're just coming slowly now. I
yeah,
think they're looking at the cameras, they're coming over.
yeah, males and females, when it comes to white-tailed deer, many species of deer outside of the rut or the breeding season will establish their own herds. So herds of bachelor males or herds of just does with their fawns. So I guess a bobcat passed and a wolf earlier.
So
There's a great blue heron.
someone's looking for dinner or
Yeah.
breakfast.
They won't just go after fish. They'll go after rabbits occasionally and what's
They can swallow a rabbit?
well, one of the smaller like swamp rabbits in certain areas, especially in the southern United States. Uh, Pelicans will swallow much larger creatures. I mean, obviously, there's that famous video where it tries to swallow a capybara, but they will swallow pigeons, live pigeons too. So let's see. Heading to the next article from IndianDefenseReview.com. Misidentified creature found in Guyana turns out to be new species. So we're over in, I believe, northeastern South America. A remarkable discovery in the remote highlands of Guyana has revealed a new species previously misidentified as something else. Researchers have confirmed the discovery of a new toad species living in the remote highlands of Guyana. This species is now named Adhirabufo wokomongensis, was previously misidentified as a look-alike species, though through a detailed re-examination of museum specimens and field notes, scientists were able to confirm the distinct characteristics of this toad, which lives in the isolated mountainous regions of the Guyana Shield. This new discovery not only reshapes part of Guyana's biodiversity story, but also provides insight into the adaptive evolution of species in remote habitats. So, let's see. A new discovery in the highlands. The discovery of Adhirabufo wukumagensis is a significant addition to the rich biodiversity of the Guyana Shield, a region known for its isolated table mountains and rugged terrain. I'm guessing by the ending of the genus name Adarabufo, and specifically um, bufo, is possibly a species of frog that we're referring to, considering there's a prehistoric frog from Madagascar from the late Cretaceous period, so over 75 million years ago, named Beelzebufo.
That is the funniest name.
Actually, I might be a bit off on that. It might be around 70 million years ago. Um, yeah. Well, I'm also talking about a 10-pound frog, or a little over four
Still a funny
kilograms.
name.
Yeah, it is. The toad first observed. Oh, okay, my bad. It's a toad. First observed in 2012, was initially mistaken for a similar species but was eventually recognized as a separate entity due to a range of unique characteristics. The toad is found primarily on the Wukumang Massif, an isolated mountain that hosts a variety of species with narrow, restricted ranges. The study that led to this discovery was driven by a comprehensive comparison of specimens from the region, with which began with a paper focused on highland amphibians. Dr. Philippe J.R. Koch, the biologist who led the effort, conducted meticulous fieldwork and laboratory analysis, examining both physical traits and genetic data to separate this toad from its lookalike relatives. The findings were published in the Journal of Vertebrate Biology, underscoring the importance of continued biodiversity surveys in remote, understudied areas of the world. So here is the toad. So I'm guessing it's not a large species, unless those are supposed to be toadlets. So they just left the tadpole
Is
stage.
that what they're called?
I believe so. Froglets, toadlets. Um, okay, so yeah, it's showing what male, female.
Did someone paint him?
He's a white paratoid macrogland secretions produced by the same specimen. So that's coming from the toad. I wonder if it's a certain poison, possibly. So let's see. Idora bufo wukamensis has several distinct features that set it apart from other toads in its family. One of the key differences is found around its mouth and hands. Unlike its cousins, this toad does not exhibit the bright white lower stripe that many related species have. Males of the species also carry tuberous bumps between the first three fingers, a feature that further distinguishes it from similar toads. The species is diurnal and lives on the leaf litter in medium high canopy montane forest, wrote Dr. Koch, emphasizing the toad's unique lifestyle. While many toads are nocturnal and vocal, Adira bufo wilkemengensis stands out by being active during the day and staying hidden in the leaf litter of the forest floor. Well, I mean, I guess it varies with the different types of toads around the world. I mean, Gulf Coast toads in the southern United States tend to be quite diurnal, but they can be nocturnal too. So, I guess it depends, but some are much more nocturnal than others. This behavior is in sharp contrast to the more typical toads, which are more often heard calling from ponds at night. Researchers have also noted that the toad has not been observed making any vocal calls, making an unusual member of its family. You can also have it where, as long as it's quite humid, decent amount of rainfall in certain areas and not adjacent to a pond, but usually it's not too far away from a certain just established pond or small lake, that you can have it where toads are being quite vocal. So I'm guessing this is the male and the female. Underlip condition in Livedoro nasicis. Okay, this is a different species of the Adarabufo. So, oh, there's three different species: Idarabufo wolcomongensis and Idarabufo Ceratiferus, as well as Nasichus. So Nasichus is the top one, and then B is the Wucamongensis, and then C is the Ceratiferus. Interesting. Wow. Look at these horn structures. Quite interesting. It's almost like there's certain chameleons that have established those horn-like structures. Or he's a bit of a ceratopsian himself. So he wants to be in with the Pentaceratops, Triceratops group. He identifies as one. But
He's
if you
not
were to
related to one.
no, but no, no, no. That was just a joke. Let's see. In
I
addition,
got it.
in addition to physical differences, genetic analysis played a crucial role in confirming the distinct nature of Adarabufo wukomagensis. The genetic gap between the species and its closest relatives was measured at nearly 5%. Trying to remember if that's a lot or not. A significant enough difference to classify it as a separate species. Research conducted by Dr. Koch and his team provides new insights into how species evolve in isolated environments, such as the remote mountains of the Guiana Shield. The genetic study also helped clarify the evolutionary history of these toads, indicating that populations in isolated areas like the Wokomong Massif has evolved separately due to limited gene flow between them. By comparing the genetic markers of different toad populations in the region, the study revealed the extent of genetic divergence that can occur in isolated ecosystems. This is a key factor in understanding how species adapt and evolve in unique habitats. The study's findings underscore the importance of genetic analysis and biodiversity research, particularly in regions where species may be overlooked or misidentified due to their elusive nature. So, yeah, this is good to see with these different species, especially three different species of frog, or I mean toad in the region. It looks very much like a small frog.
Wait, how do I spell the name of that?
The Dirabufo,
No, the other one.
Beezobufo.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So Beez, El, I believe Obufo. Not sure about species name, but that's the genus name. Should come up. So, despite the excitement surrounding the discovery of Iduro wilkamensis, the species is currently categorized as data deficient by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. That's funny. This means that there is not enough information about the toad's population size, reproduction habits, or long term survival to accurately assess its conservation status. Dr. Koch and his team have expressed concerns that the toad's narrow range and the increasing threat of uh, given the toad's restricted habitat and the challenges of conducting research in such remote areas, further studies are needed to assess its population trends and identify potential conservation measures. Researchers plan to conduct additional field surveys to gather more information about the toad's behavior, reproduction, and survival rates. These feature studies will be critical in determining whether this newly discovered species faces any intermediate threats and how it might be
Okay.
protected in the long term.
How large is this guy supposed to be?
Around 10 pounds, a little over 4 kilograms.
Oh, I thought they were supposed to be 20.
Okay. Well, this is a reconstruction from Prehistoric Planet. I think it used to be estimated before they might have reached over 20 pounds, but it's possible with freshly hatched dinosaurs, which very likely with many species would have weighed, less than a pound. Some instances, maybe even a few ounces, because were certain species, but also referring to
Wait, you're not saying this guy was supposed to be only a pound?
No, 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 the hatchlings that he might have eaten occasionally. I don't believe there are any preserved specimens of Beelzebufo with, like, a dinosaur inside of its mouth or, body cavity,
You mean
but
that?
it certainly is possible that this animal was capable of this.
I was
It
trying to
also had a very strong bite force compared to its body size, like, immense. Um, I mean, it's possible it could have, like, I think the estimate is somewhere around 400 to 500 pounds of sheer force from this animal, or a little over, 200 kilograms.
which is comparable to what?
It's more than people. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Would be maybe like a red wolf, so, it is quite immense. But, Beelzebufo lived over in Madagascar around 70 million years ago with different species of, the carnosaur lineage of dinosaurs, so animals like the abelisaurs, which had some of the smallest arms compared to their body size. These were bipedal theropod dinosaurs, as well as certain long-necked sauropods like Repetosaurus. Okay, that's it. All right, let's head over to the next video. Okay, so this seems to be a cemetery. This is pretty common for red foxes to inhabit different cemeteries. They just make good homes, so they establish burrows inside of them or dens.
Which is why all the kids are there?
Yep, and white-tailed deer will also take advantage of them as well.
Do the foxes mess with the whitetail?
They might go after fawns, but they won't go after full-grown individuals unless it seems pretty weak or sick. Which there are certain points where even animals or carnivores as small as foxes will take advantage of that type of a
These
situation.
these kids look like they're having so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Even the adults playing. That's good to see.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, they seem pretty healthy.
Weird. Hold on. Here.
Okay, so from KTLA.com,
Sorry. Wait. There.
three new wolf packs confirmed in Northern California. They've definitely been showing up a lot lately. So, wild wolves are making a major comeback in California. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife confirmed on Tuesday that three new wolf packs have developed in the state. Well, okay. The Ishi Pack in eastern Tehama County, the Tunison Pack in central Lassen County, and the Ashpin Pack in eastern Shasta County. This brings the total number of known wolf packs in California to 10. It's quite a bit considering how dense in population California is. Now you could say, well, Northern California, there's not as many people, but there's still over 40 million the whole state. So let's see,
Still?
35 to 40 million. Amarak Weiss, a senior wolf advocate at the Center for Biological Diversity, is celebrating the news. The new news. How wonderful to witness another year of continued gr- growth in California's recovering wolf population. It's inspiring to watch this renaissance, and we should do everything we can to ensure California's wolves have every chance to thrive. So, is this a wolf over in California? He's just in a very grassland, or he's in some grassland biome. So, Colorado, oh no, it's California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Wolf coloring January 2025. Photo by Malia Beatrice of the California Wolf Project. So this is a black wolf in
That's
some
what I was getting
grassland
ready to
region.
ask.
So confirmation of the new packs is the latest step forward in the decades-long effort to reestablish wolves across the western United States. The gray wolf, native to California, was eradicated by the mid 1920s. Their return began with OR7, a wolf from Oregon who entered California in late 2011. First packs were confirmed in Washington and Oregon in 2008, followed by California in 2015. By the end of 2024, wildlife officials counted 75 individual wolf pack territories across the three states. Wow. Yeah, that's they're they're doing great. While many people are lauding the return of wolves to California's success, there are significant concerns, primarily among ranchers in rural communities and areas where wolves are reestablishing themselves. Well, it's also mainly where certain wolf packs are having a major impact on livestock. Like especially, we were looking at, I think, a specific pack or two that has been just devastating certain livestock herds in the region. All the other packs, they seem to be focusing on the deer in the area. So here's a bit of the map. Or oh, okay. So there's one of the newer wolf packs. I mean, they are reaching further south. They're approaching what, Sacramento? Somewhat. They're going to stay for the most part, probably quite a bit of a ways from the region. That's good to see. So one of them is definitely in the grasslands area. It's quite interesting. They don't seem to be too keen on inhabiting different forested areas. That's interesting. I almost maybe the mule deer in these areas just seem to prefer the grasslands, which is somewhat expected. Um, so that's still interesting to see. I wonder what the red lines are supposed to be. An unconfirmed pack, maybe. Southern California.
Hold on. It says it.
Guess I'm forgetting how far south Sacramento is.
Are we talking about this?
Oh, area of wolf activity. Okay. Hmm.
So wolf activity and pack activity.
Yeah, the yellows, yes, specifically, these are all pack territories,
They're
which are
not
going
too
to
far from each other.
nope, which they're going to change throughout the year. Yeah, you can have it where probably what's occurred is maybe they haven't scented a certain area of their territory in a certain amount of time, and so you have it where there are these different overlaps. But yeah, interesting. And then one's over in partially the Oregon border, the whaleback. Sequoia. Yeah, the Sequoia National Forest is over in Central California if you're looking at just as a whole in the geographic aspect. So that's quite far south. The problem is there's not a lot of genetic connectivity at that point. So that's a concern. The wolves are displaying behavior that is atypical, wrote Layson County Sheriff John McGarva in a recent letter to California Department of Fish and Wildlife, saying the animals are increasingly encroaching on residential areas like suburbs and seem to be unfazed by typical deterrents. You said wolves had reportedly killed 6 calves in the Bighorn Valley in March. I wonder if that was that, specific pack. The name's not hitting me. In addition to the 3 new packs, California is home to the Whaleback Pack in Siskiyou County, the Lassen Pack, Diamond Pack, the Bayham Sayo Pack, the Ice Cave Pack, Harvey Pack, and the Yow Alumni Pack. According to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, the department also noted 2 smaller groups of 2 to 3 wolves in Northern California that do not yet qualify as packs. And wolves are currently protected under both the California and Federal Endangered Species Acts. I wonder if that's changed with at least, federally or U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service because, um, I think there might have been something that popped up recently where they came off of the endangered species list, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so let's head over to, the next video. Okay, let's see what's going on here. This might be in some part of the Western United States. I wouldn't necessarily call this a very healthy forest, though. Seems a little too dense. Just not enough.
You're too quiet.
s- okay, well, it's good to see this female black bear with her cubs they seem quite healthy. And when is this taking place? It's not saying. And obviously, they found a trail camera. And here's that fox, and he's taking another path. I think he's trying to hunt for certain meadow voles in the region.
It
I'm guessing this is a coyote. Okay, it's definitely looks like some part of.
looks like he's looking for food.
Oh no, I think it's a wolf. Yeah, it's a wolf, or it's a coy wolf. I'm not entirely sure.
Eh, I'm just gonna wander off.
Back in November 2023. Oh, here's a white-tailed buck. He's definitely having trouble finding food, but he seems quite healthy considering the weather conditions. He seems to have a decent amount of weight. And here's the porky. Is this all coming from the certain area because it's that white porcupine again? Though he is a very good addition to the trail camera landscape.
Yep. What was
And
that?
here we have might have been a fisher, relative of otters, ferrets, to mustelid. Yeah, a couple of a white-tailed doe and her fawn. And then, I wonder if that was a male black bear pursuing a female, but she was much bigger than him.
Is that a
It's Canadian lynx. Oh, here's an
right
otter,
right
and he
up to the
found the trail
camera?
camera. So this was in March of that year. Oh, here's a wolf.
How did they get this camera right? I mean,
I wonder if there was a certain established game trail that many animals will use, and they just decide to place it there. And obviously, they've gotten quite a bit of footage. Well, the question is, how long of a period of time? Because it definitely depends. You can have it where a wolf or even a pack might have been using the trail back in the spring, and then you don't see a moose pop up until later in the next winter. So it really depends. But usually on game trails, there tends to be more activity. So from region.com.au, baby possum falls into the National Zoo's tiger enclosure and lives to tell the tale.
I didn't know they could speak.
Hmm. Well, I wonder what species this is. This is obviously not an American possum. This looks like either a South American or an Australian species. Suma, the possum joey that accidentally spent a night with a tiger. Maybe it's a Asian species? The tiger is not exactly high on the list of things you'd like to cuddle up next to at night. It's why a baby brush-tailed possum who somehow survived a night inside a tiger enclosure at the National Zoo and Aquarium is being called the luckiest possum in Canberra. Male Joey, now named Suma, was rescued on Monday morning after a zookeeper noticed something unusual inside the tiger enclosure. A small animal being played with by the 8-year-old Sumatran tiger Maya. Against the odds, the Joey escaped with only minor injuries and is expected to make a full recovery. So it was just playing with its food, and I guess luckily it lost it. Somehow it got away. Maybe they distracted the tiger. Here's a close up.
Oh no, it's video.
It's like you need to hear my story.
Oh, let's see.
No, it seems like a healthy individual.
And
Bit nervous, I think shocked.
yeah, well, it spent the night with a tiger.
Wonder if she was just fed too.
How old is that?
I'm not entirely sure. She seems pretty healthy though. Claws look good. Fur looks to be in good condition. She just seems shocked.
Is that it can't be full grown.
No, 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 I don't think so. ACT wildlife volunteers were called to the zoo early on Monday, February 2nd, after zoo staff spotted the tiger playing with something in its enclosure on CCTV. Meet the luckiest possum in Canberra. Volunteer Corin Pinnock posted to Facebook. A zookeeper observed the tiger playing with something small and called it into the den. Upon entering the enclosure, the keeper discovered the joey. The joey was taken straight to a vet. Cat injuries are considered emergencies regardless of the cat's size. So, was it distracted from completely annihilating the joey?
Well, it sounds like it was just looking at it and playing with it.
Yeah, but I've seen it where um, cats have fallen into like a lion enclosure. I don't remember where this occurred, but they ended up taking a hold of the cat, ripped a front leg off of the cat. I think it was a kitten, possibly too, and ended up ripping it apart. So, um, I'm just really shocked that the tiger didn't do this.
It wasn't hungry?
Maybe. Also, tigers, they tend to be much less keen on killing things compared to lions. Not that they don't, but it's just um, if a lion's so-called, playing with its food, eventually, like it's definitely going to eat it. Whereas tigers, I'm kind of assuming at this point, but they're just not as apt to, I don't know, killing as much when it comes to compared to lions. But even though he was likely with the tiger for hours, the joey was in surprisingly good condition. The fact that um, that is just shocking. I mean, you would expect that he would just die from a heart attack or high blood pressure.
Well, it's a
Um,
joey. Maybe it just didn't know what it was looking at.
Maybe, but he didn't seem that young. I mean, it's marsupial. To everyone's surprise, the baby possum was found to be relatively unharmed, with only a minor wound requiring stitches in its leg and a small puncture wound. The joey was given antibiotics to prevent infection and pain relief for its injuries. And Miss Pennock said he'll need physiotherapy to strengthen his leg and possibly therapy to cope with the experience.
I'm sorry. It's just funny.
ACT Wildlife President Yana Del Valle said how the joey ended up with the tiger remains a mystery. We have no evidence of Mum bearing near or around, so we have no idea how he got into the enclosure. Yeah, how on earth did he get from wherever he was into the tiger enclosure? Is there an open area? And I that's just shocking.
Or was the mother carrying it and then threw it out when it saw the tiger and ran off?
Oh, one of those, like certain other marsupial species. But yeah, I think also why I'm saying that this almost doesn't seem surprising that the tiger spared it is because I haven't really seen anything of where tigers are playing with their food. Maybe something with the cubs, but outside of that, this is just extremely surprising. Um, so we have no evidence. Oh, I already said that. He may have climbed in under the canopy, or maybe Mom dropped him while she was going across the canopy. We just don't know. How is that how I don't know how the possum enclosure is adjacent to a tiger enclosure. Why would you have them adjacent to each other? Um, Either way, the tiger thought she'd been given a new toy. The tiger did play with little Joey in a cat way as a toy. And it's interesting. It's like it almost was just sort of lightly touching it. Unfortunately, tigers have got claws like cats, and he did get puncture wounds, but they're superficial. That's the thing. It's like he was being quite gentle. Lions would not be very gentle. Probably
What are we
jaguars less
looking
too.
at?
Maybe the back of the
Oh,
joey.
right. Right there.
Oh, okay, maybe certain puncture wounds. Miss Del Val said that Joey was likely inside the enclosure overnight. We suspect probably a little while overnight because he was dehydrated. But she praised the zoo's presence or response. The zookeeper quite quickly recognized that that's an unusual item in the enclosure and called the cat in. They're amazing how they can train the animals to go into their dens. The reaction was quite good and efficient. Um, I would think that would just need to be necessary. I wouldn't call that impressive. It's not like, I mean, I don't think anybody here has necessarily a very strong bond with any of these animals. I mean, certainly possible, and I would hope that there would be. National Zoo animal care manager Sophie Dentrino said native animals like birds and possums occasionally wander into zoo enclosures, but rarely into Maya's. We do have brush-tailed possums. Oh, so it is possibly a common brush-tailed possum from Australia that reside here at the zoo and unfortunately make their way into some animal enclosures, but it's pretty infrequent. Miss Dentrino said the zoo had installed nest boxes around the property to encourage possums to stay out of enclosures. Brush-tailed possums will also make themselves look bigger when they're confronted with something like a quoll, maybe even some sort of a crocodile monitor in Australia or like the goanna. So it's very possible that the joey might have done the same. Let's see. Miss Dentrino said the zoo had installed. I like how they said it's pretty infrequent when it comes to animals getting to others places. That's not good. Miss Dentrino
Not
said
good
this.
that it's infrequent?
Well, I just meant that's happening at all.
Oh,
Miss Dentrino said the zoo had installed nest boxes around the property to encourage possums to stay out of enclosures. Our policy is to set up some nest boxes in the areas that are known too frequent, so they're staying in the gardens rather than feeling the need to make a residence for themselves in an enclosure. Miss Delval added that ACT Wildlife is called to the zoo every now and then, but this is the first case we've ever had in the entire enclosure. I did it say what ACT stands for? Hmm. Well, these two tigers seem relatively somewhat healthy. They're just waiting for their snacks. They're probably giving them a bit of enrichment or just checking on their IQ somewhat. Okay, let's see. Miss Deval said because the joey weighed just 330 grams, he'll remain in care for several months until he's at least 2 kilograms or around 4.4 pounds. We were more worried about his shock and stress, but he's now with a carer. He's really perked up. He's going to make a full recovery. Suma will then be released close to the zoo. Hold on a second. Is this over in Australia? Oh, okay. I was confused because I was thinking it was the Smithsonian Zoo. And I'm like, why did it call these animals native? Because common brush-tailed possums are from Australia. Okay. Um, yeah, I think the tiger is just maybe relaxed. So, not obviously in the zoo, but we'll look for a good habitat nearby. With possums, you can't really relocate them more than 50 meters away from the original place where you found them. Okay, so what I'm guessing is this
wait.
isn't
A meter is how many feet?
3.3,
So it's still in the zoo.
180, 190 feet. Yeah, 200 feet. So, yeah, when it comes to, it sounds like a wild common brush-tail possum mother dropped it into the enclosure. That was confusing because I thought maybe somehow there was an enclosure adjacent to the tiger enclosure.
And the possum thought it was a good idea to go walking by the tigers. Why?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense for an Australian zoo. And okay, now this makes more sense. Um, Still though, you have trees that can, just linger food over. Okay. Fingers crossed he learned his lesson. Oh, let's head over to the next video. Okay, from the Vontiers Wolf Projects or Voyagers. So, this is taking place over in northeastern Minnesota, probably in the Superior National Forest. Here's a calm Canadian lynx.
It is funny how
He's
they
just checking. Oh, what did he
what?
get?
Is that a baby?
Yeah, I couldn't tell
Whoa,
what
hold
that
on,
was
let's go back.
exactly.
Was
Is
that
that or
just
might have been a rabbit or a hare?
or her cub smacking her?
I don't think so. Usually, she's grabbing it by the extra bit of skin over on the back.
Is that a
It might be a bobcat.
That's what I was wondering.
And not so much Canadian
I'm seeing
lynx.
some big feet.
Could be maybe just to
No, the feet aren't that big. Just the legs. Well,
Oh, here's a wolf.
looking for a beaver?
Oh, there's 2 of them further in the background. It's very possible they will, hunt beavers. They do patrol beaver dams for beavers. This probably is a beaver dam. Quite common over in Superior National Forest.
I feel better.
I think it's just marking its territory, and it looks like it just ate something. Or it got into a fight. Had some blood, or looks like
Oh
there was
my
blood.
god, you are a pig.
That is a fat black bear. I'm guessing it's like, what, October at least? There's a wolf pup. He's carrying something. Looks like a vertebra. Oh, here's the rendezvous.
Slow motion shot.
I think I had a blind eye.
Uh,
There's one just relaxing.
I need to cool
I
down.
think it's collared. I mean, not collared, tagged. Which I guess isn't surprising for a wolf pack over in Superior National Forest. Oh, yeah. I think both years have a tag.
Uh, I don't know where to go.
Seems to be fall as well. And here's one of the black wolves.
And oh,
Oh,
thanks.
well,
That's what we needed right now.
that's not
What?
necessarily marking its
Why are we
territory.
seeing that? Somebody thought I'm gonna throw this in just for fun.
There's a raven. Um, huh. Well, I wonder what they're doing with this.
Huh?
They were checking out the buried dung. I really wonder what the ravens were doing with that.
Hold on, I want this.
It's very intelligent birds.
Yeah.
Okay, so from WVMetroNews.com, research reveals elk from different sources are breeding in southern West Virginia. Well, this is good to see considering when West Virginia were reintroduced to, when elk were reintroduced to West Virginia, I think sometime late 2010s, 2016, 2017, they immediately started dying due to a certain virus in the area. So the fact I kind of had left this population alone because I only saw that there were a handful of individuals and they just kept perishing. I actually thought they were all gone. So this is actually quite surprising. So let's see. From Logan, West Virginia, observers on the Tumblin Wildlife Management Area in southern West Virginia have noticed a few elk calves on the landscape. And for those of you that don't know where West Virginia is, it's over in the eastern United States, just north of Virginia and west of Maryland, Washington D.C. or District of Columbia, and south of Pennsylvania. Let's see. They have noticed a few elk calves on the landscape. Those born in the spring and early summer months of 2025 have been slowly emerging from hiding with their mothers. Unlike white-tailed deer, elk are a lot more sneaky with offspring. They hide them a lot, said Randy Kelly, elk project leader in the West with the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources. They'll hide them even after we see a cow with a calf in the morning. You'll see her in the evening and you'll be wondering what happened to their calf. They're probably hiding close by and staying out of the heat. The calves each year are vital to the agency's efforts to grow the elk herd. Chances look to be slim of any more transportation of elk from other areas into the Coalfield region to help the project along. They should. They came from Colorado originally, which seems to be the core element of where elk populations that are or elk herds that are reintroduced to different parts of the eastern United States come from. Considering Colorado has the largest elk population in the world, like around 260,000, one of the highest populations ever, I believe. Maybe they're slightly higher historically if you were to include herds over in the eastern part of Colorado. Let's see. The calves each year are vital to the agency's efforts to grow the elk herd. Chances look to be slim of any more. I already said that. Kelly, in a recent edition of West Virginia Outdoors, admitted that makes for a slow climb. What most people don't realize is the plan was to bring them all at once or in a 2-year phase, as opposed to spreading out 3 stockings over 8 years. That makes a big difference. You're trying to get over the hump where your mortalities outpace births. The smaller your group is, the more you struggle with that. That's insane. Only having 1 to 2 years to reintroduce elk to West Virginia, getting them in all the way from Colorado. That is nuts. You have to first find a specific herd and probably individuals of certain ages, as well as like getting health checkups on them. Then you have to relocate them all the way to West Virginia, and then you have to rehabilitate them in a certain area, make sure they're used to the environment. Now, on the bright side, they are coming from likely a much higher elevation in Colorado compared to West Virginia. So that's going to help with getting used to the area. But that is much too short of a time span. But I um yeah, I just find that shocking. Then you have to worry about mortalities, the births, and then the virus popped up. So, research has revealed elk from LBL, I'm not sure what that is, and Arizona have crossbreed, which is strong for the herd health. No, that seems to be a bull elk adjacent to an elk calf. Seems a bit small for that time of year. Randy said each year it makes it harder to make up ground when older elk start to die off or when a sickness might take hold. But that's likely how things are going to be for at least the foreseeable future. The trend of transporting cervids or different species of deer has become very unpopular for the fears of spreading disease, particular chronic wasting disease. Hmm. So, chronic wasting disease is a big hammer over our heads. Until we get a live animal test for that, I would agree. I think eventually there will be a reliable live animal test for CWD. At that point, it may change the view of whether you can move animals, but you're right. Nobody wants to move animals that could cause problems to your existing herd, but to your deer herd as well. The other big news regarding the West Virginia elk herd is the facts produced from a study by a West Virginia University graduate student. um, he graduated this past spring after spending his time in on the Tomblin Wildlife Management Area. Took a long look at some of the DNA on the animals. Kelly said one thing the study proved without question was the elk from the two different sources of stock or crossbreeding. West Virginia obtained its original elk from the land between the Lakes National Recreational Area in western Kentucky. They've received a couple of subsequent shipments from LBL, along with one very large shipment of elk trapped and transferred to West Virginia from the state of Arizona. Oh, I'm guessing one of the herds came in from Arizona.
I find it funny though when I'm hearing shipments.
Maybe they're being sent there
No,
by
I just meant shipments of elk.
yeah.
It's just funny.
I guess it's even more surprising when you have it where there are shipments of rhinos or elephants coming in from Africa or Asia. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Let's see. There's proof we have crossbreeding from the LBL and Arizona elk and the subsequent offspring we've been able to produce. He brought a lot of good and very interesting data. It was fun to look at who the daddy of a lot of these things was. It was not a surprise to us that a couple of bulls had dominated the breeding period, but we feel like we've had a few non dominant males breed a few cows, particularly early on due to our relatively young status. Ah, that's it. Okay, well, um, I don't know what to say about this. I think in the end, this isn't good that we're not getting in more elk from, especially that specific area of Arizona, but they seem to be doing okay.
You mean the diversity of them?
Yeah, just the overall genetic variety and even getting their numbers up. Did it mention yeah, a few elk calves? Okay, so we they didn't. It's not a large population. They didn't even give us like just an overall quick estimate of the place, like when it comes to the elk population. So that's unfortunate. I believe there's some more over in nearby Pennsylvania, but you wouldn't want to take any from that population. It's still too small.
Okay, this I just found funny.
Okay, so what's going on here? Sometime in the fall, I think, unless it's a drought. Oh no, I think it's winter. Oh, it's a bobcat and there's a fox squirrel. It's one of those fat fox squirrels too.
Can't catch me. Yeah, can't catch me.
This is the largest squirrel in the United States or North America in general. Well, okay, largest tree squirrel. It's technically a groundhog is a ground squirrel. Let's see. Or a woodchuck, same thing as a groundhog.
Oop,
I
Yeah, who's gonna get tired first?
think this is at like a university campus. And is that a antler set of antlers I'm seeing in the
Yes.
background? Okay, now I'm really
I didn't even
confused.
see that until you said it.
Maybe it's someone's porch, but
Uh,
they obviously feed the squirrels. I
He's
think
looking
it's
for other ones, I guess.
He's like, can somebody lend me a hand? Maybe distract this thing." Gosh, you really this is one of those times where it's almost like you want the bobcat to get the squirrel. I think because the squirrel is so fat, and it's like, he will make a really good meal out of that.
I don't know, it just reminded me of Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, that's close. It's close to it. They're both rodents. Comes the squirrel and the mouse. So, heading back in time from Sci News, I might have done a video on this. Scientists discover a first freshwater mosasaur. This is also an earlier article. Now, it is interesting because not too long ago, like recently, there was discovery that came out from the late Cretaceous period, like I think around 67 to 69 million years ago. Thing also coming from Montana that there was evidence for large freshwater mosasaurs in the area. But it also made it out like it was the first of its kind to be discovered, and you also have this discovery, which was much earlier in time, indicating that at least earlier in the late Cretaceous period, and with smaller species of mosasaurs, they were dwelling in fresh water. So, an international team of paleontologists has described a new species of mosasaur that lived in freshwater environments about 84 million years ago. So, until now, mosasaurs, large extinct reptiles, were only thought to have lived in ancient seas and oceans. But according to a new study published in the journal Plus One, the new mosasaur species from Hungary, so over in basically Central Europe, is the first known example of this group to have lived in freshwater river environments similar to modern freshwater dolphins. I do wonder if we have any evidence for ichthyosaurs, older species of pliosaurs, or basically the ancient predators before the mosasaurs evolved, like if they were ever in fresh water. Oh, let's click on that.
Can't, but I can blow it.
So, yeah, this specific species, I'm guessing he's not a large individual. I mean, 84 million years ago, the mosasaurs were becoming larger, but you had also a wide variety of smaller species. This animal looks much more like a certain relatives of like crocodile monitors, like when looking at the feet and even the overall body structure, though he's probably quite aquatic. But I do wonder if he would have ever come onto land and he was technically making him semi aquatic, so he couldn't entirely rely on the ocean. Here are the fossil specimens.
Well, because it's giving him actual feet, not necessarily flippers.
Yeah, though they are quite webbed, almost like certain species of turtles. So, the team found several fossils of the new species, ranging from small juveniles to large adults, that suggest that this species had limbs like a terrestrial lizard, a flattened crocodile like skull. I wouldn't necessarily say crocodile like. There were certain crocodile species that had a somewhat skull structure to this animal, but not
I mean, a
crocodilians.
similar skull structure?
What happened?
You left out similar.
Oh. And a tail unlike other known members of the mosasaur family. That looks nothing like a mosasaur tail. Maybe their ancestors, but not, despite him being a mosasaur, looks very unlike the others, especially the marine species. So the fossils were recovered from an open pit mine in the Bacony Hills of Western Hungary. And this animal, according to scientists, the newly discovered species Pannoniosaurus inexpecticus. I wonder if that's because of the overall morphology of the animal, or its overall structure. Is the first mosasaur to have lived in freshwater environments. The picture shows another species of mosasaur, Agialosaurus buchhichi. Okay, so this is another species of mosasaur, not precisely referring to this individual. I believe the bones are of Pannoniosaurus.
Why do they do that?
Um, Maybe it's possible that this specific species might have looked somewhat similar, at least in certain areas of the body. They're just to give an overall representation of the animal, even though there hasn't been description or maybe some sort of drawing at the moment or at that moment. The newly discovered species named Pannoniosaurus inexpectitus is only the second specimen of mosasaur to have been found in rocks that were not once deposited in the ocean. I think also another shocking factor is that it's coming from Central Europe, which at this time, to an extent, was a series of islands. The evidence we provide here makes it clear that similar to some lineages of cetaceans or whales, um, cetacean, cetaceans are the family of whales. Mosasaurs quickly adapted to a variety of aquatic environments, with some groups reinvading available niches in freshwater habitats. You do have a certain species of whale today known as the Chinese um, freshwater or Chinese river dolphin. And then you also have the Amazon pink river dolphins in the area as well. So,
Oh, that's what I ask. Is that the same thing?
yeah, well, they are cetaceans. Every species of dolphin is a cetacean. So,
No, I
it's
meant if they were the same. When you were saying that, I was thinking the pink one. I was wondering if the pink one was the one you were talking about.
Oh, no, they're completely different species, like, one over in China or Eastern Asia, and then the other over in, different areas of Brazil. Somewhat, you could say, Northern South America. So, let's see, only a few species live in the water, and even fewer, like marine iguanas and sea kraits, live in the oceans. Oh, okay, even the modern world scaly reptiles in the aquatic world are extremely rare. Yeah, it's true. Guess yeah, the marine iguana, especially the ones that inhabit the Galapagos Islands. Sea kraits, they're not hitting me. The new species described here probably adapted to freshwater environments similarly to river dolphins, such as those now inhabiting the Amazon, Ganges, and Yangtze rivers, which is especially the Yangtze. That's where the Chinese river dolphin is. So, this is good to see with this species of mosasaur. Let's head over to the next video. Let's see. This looks like an otter having fun in the snow.
He didn't get much of a slide there.
Yeah, he looked quite stunned. Oh, there's another one.
Right into the back. Hello, I'm
Oh,
here.
there's another. Are there any more? No, it's just three, and they're on their way. Seem quite graceful. This whitetail looks concerned, unless it's with a herd. Nope, we don't know. Or there's a bobcat just grooming. Looks like a completely different area, though. Oh,
Uh, uh, uh,
I wonder if we're some part of Idaho, just judging by the trees.
oh, hit the camera.
Oh, he's like, whoa, I got to stabilize this. Wait, okay.
Uh, uh, They just
I
picked right in front I wonder if one of them was messing with the camera and the other one went over and went, "What are you doing?"
I guess this is a Rocky Marciano or Muhammad Ali sort of interpretation. They're learning. Let's see. This red fox is probably going back into its den. Seemed
"Come
that way.
on, hurry up. You're taking forever." Okay. Uh,
I think this is the same doe and fawn that we saw earlier. Another trail camera mixture.
Run,
Well, there's a happy wolf, or
run.
he's in pursuit. The fisher.
Wait, Fisher?
I might be confusing him with another species of mustelid, but he is a close relative, and he seemed to be quite
Bouncy?
frolic.
What are you doing? Wait, what was that?
I think it was just a whitetail buck trying to look for um, certain underground flowers or maybe even moss. He's gaining weight. It seems to be summer.
Oh,
Okay, he's
that's
marking a scent over on the tree. Seems to be quite healthy. Here we have a side-striped skunk. There are actually a few different species of skunk throughout the world. Many just tend to assume it's like one or two different species.
it it's that is just funny
Yeah,
the way
he's
it's
just
hopping off.
frolicking. Heading to the next article from discoverwildlife.com. Seeing them walk free was incredibly rewarding. 50 giant tortoises released on island in the Seychelles. The new castaways will help rewild the exclusive tropical island.
Castaways, that sounds terrible.
Well, the Seychelles are also a group of islands just north of Madagascar, just east of the um, African continent. Technically, Madagascar is a part of the African continent geographically, but it has been
Okay,
separated
is
for
this a
quite
real
some time.
picture or is this AI?
Um, hmm, that's a hard one. I think it's a real turtle, but yeah, maybe something does seem a bit off. Okay, let's keep going. 50 formerly captive Aldabra giant tortoises have been released onto an exclusive private island, the Seychelles. The move, which places the reptiles back in their native habitat, is a boost for biodiversity and a new chapter in the lives of these iconic gentle giants. North Island is a small tropical landmass northwest of the Seychelles main island, Mahe. Hundreds of years ago, thousands of Aldabra giant tortoises lived there alongside an abundance of unique endemic species, such as the dodo. And I'm serious, this is also where the dodo existed. Then humans arrived. Yeah, okay. I know. The dodo knows. Well, here's one of them.
Dodo? That's a weird looking dodo.
He doesn't think so. Let's see. So he's just foraging for food in a forest on North Island, which is part of Aldabra, the world's second largest coral atoll. Oh, here's a group of Aldabra giant tortoises huddle in the shelter of a bush on Aldabra Atoll. Okay, so in 1997, when private investors bought the island for ecotourism and rewilding, few giant tortoises were left. This meant the ecosystem services they once provided, such as seed dispersal, enriching the soil, were also absent. Since then, people from neighboring islands have been donating their tortoises to the island to help restore the native ecosystem. More recently, 50 Aldabra giant tortoises from Mahe have been released as part of a project led by the Indian Ocean Tortoise Alliance and North Island Environment Department. Many of the reptiles were cherished family companions. Donors describe giving them up as emotional but meaningful, an act of responsibility towards future generations. After careful reflection, I decided to relocate my tortoises from a sheltered home to a more natural space. True care means enabling animals to thrive the way nature intended. I'm proud that they can now help restore an island. That's wow, it's quite amazing. People are literally donating their tortoises.
Question is, how do the tortoises feel about that?
Um, yeah, I kind of wonder, but they're probably okay. Seems pretty healthy. So, Rich Baxter from Indian Ocean Tortoise Alliance moving a tortoise from quarantine. So he's probably in a somewhat rehabilitation area.
Well, don't they have to quarantine all of them before they can release them?
Probably, yeah. Same goes for most animals. Not sure about insects. They just tend to release them. Or, think certain birds to an extent until, there are those videos, though I think it has to do when at certain weddings, they release the doves or the pigeons, and then, a vehicle or a semi hits them
Oh
as they
god.
fly off. Yeah, they're just like, and, "With the
Just
power of such and such, be free." Or
to celebrate this wedding, splat.
yeah, they get hit by a couple of semis, or they release 2 more afterwards, and then another car hits them. Um, anyway, before the tortoises left Mahe, they were microchipped for the national tortoise census and fed only native leaves to prevent the spread of invasive plant species via their droppings. That's good to hear. They underwent 2 quarantines, one in Mahe, one on North Island, before taking their first steps into their new wild home. Now, every day, they walk a little farther and explore a little more. After months of planning, seeing them walk free was incredibly rewarding. It says IOTA Assistant Project Officer Santosh Albert. The new recruits bring the number of Aldabra giant tortoises now living on North Island to well over 200. Wow, they were rare. Hopes are high that the new arrivals will settle in and breed, as former arrivals have done before them. Albert adds, moments like that remind you why conservation matters because these islands are our home. Keeping them healthy benefits us all. Yeah, so I guess he's just on the coast taking a beach stroll. Yep, and I'll dab her giant tortoise. I guess that's it. Well, it's good to see you with these tortoises over just north of Madagascar. Let's head over to the next video. Okay. I was concerned that they were going to be pigeons being hit by cars. So let's see. Seems to be a wolf pack. Is by the Voyager's Wolf Project too? Maybe it's somebody else. I guess there's 4 individuals here. Or it's 5, 6.
They're just popping up everywhere. Hi.
They're just greeting each other. It's probably the parents and then their pups.
Well, how long do they stay
I
together?
think somebody's injured. Um, it depends, really until the pups decide to move away and establish their own packs. They're not really pushed in many instances, like they're forced to leave, like with what you see in cats. That was funny. A black bear cub pulling on the trail camera, and here we have maybe the same.
No, it's not the same porcupine.
He seems a bit darker.
Hey. Hmm.
So this is a mustelid in the area. I
That was
wonder if that was the individual from the winter camera traps. There's a doe and her twins. I'm guessing. Okay, yeah, it's probably sometime in the summer, so it can be like maybe July or August.
I think they looked right at the camera. Yep, right at it.
Oh yeah, they identified it. Nice
Woohoo!
rabbit. Whoa,
Yeah.
that was actually pretty impressive.
Wait, here we go.
Whoa, oh wow, this too.
Somebody chasing or is it just running?
Yeah, we don't know. There's also a wide variety of different species of woodpecker in the United States as well. But I guess he's having trouble getting some insects.
It's frozen.
It's at the base of it too.
Somebody needs to eat more.
Yeah.
Is that a cub?
It could be maybe a 2.5-year-old, possibly, or maybe it's still with its mother, but it's just further off. It's probably late spring when that occurred
Wait,
too.
what is that?
I think
It's a
it's
lynx, isn't it?
yeah, it's a
I'm
lynx.
looking at
I
the
couldn't.
feet.
Well, it was like the feet, also the overall fur structure, especially on the bottom, those little tufts of hair on the top. I couldn't tell for a second. Oh, okay, so that was somebody else. So from ESA.org, South American marsupial is discovered to reach new heights. That's funny. For the first time, because marsupials or possums climb. For the first time, scientists catch on camera a tiny marsupial climbing higher than previously thought in the forest canopy. Whoa. Who's this little guy? In the Andean forests along the border of Chile and Argentina, there have long been speculations that the mouse sized marsupial Manito del Monte climbs to lofty heights in the trees, or Dromaeosaurus glioides. Yet, due to the lack of knowledge about the region's biodiversity in the forest canopies, no previous records exist documenting such arboreal habits for this creature. I think it's also, let's say, yeah, it's just late 2010s, but not too long ago. Some tree climbing researchers are changing that. Okay, so Javier Godoy Guanau and colleagues set motion sensing cameras in the tree canopy to capture photographic evidence confirming the high climbing theories surrounding this miniature mammal. The findings are published today in a new study in the Ecological Society of America's journal Ecosphere. The Monito del Monte, Spanish for little monkey of the bush, although not a monkey at all. There are species of monkeys over in South America.
But they're not marsupials.
No, they are placentals. Is a small, inarguably cute marsupial that is found solely in the temperate rainforests of Argentina and Chile. Sometimes even I forget that Argentina and Chile have rainforests because also these specific types of temperate rainforests, when it comes to the dinosaurs or dinosaur discoveries, you just think of a bearless desert landscape. And also with different types of habitats over in these two countries, where you see the guanaco, very close relatives of llamas and camels, and you just think of a much more arid, high elevation, cold terrain. The pumas in the region.
Wait, I thought you said a guanaco was a camel.
Well, technically it is. It's just when it comes to how close related it is to the dromedary camel, the one-humped dromedary, the two-humped Bactrian camel species. They're a bit further off. And there's also another classification with them within Camelidae too. Let's see. Is a small, inarguably. Oh, I already said that. It eats mostly insects with some fruit and seeds and nuts, and it also hibernates, which is unusual for marsupials. Yeah, it is quite surprising for a marsupial to hibernate. Females, well, wait a second. There might be something up with the pygmy possum over in Australia, which inhabits a certain higher altitude region over in the southern part of the country. So that's not hitting me. It's also one of the smallest marsupials to exist. I think it barely weighs like a few ounces. A females can carry, well, technically, there's a wide variety of different species of marsupials, especially possums that are quite small, but those over in southern Australia are the smallest. Females can carry up to 5 young in a pouch. The prehensile tail makes it adept at climbing. So let's see. And you're threatened. I'm surprised. Wow, they're making it almost like, oh, it's least concern. So let's see. When it comes to like how many there are out there, this is also coming from the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Um, yeah, you also have UNESCO and all these other um, conservation organizations. Researchers thought this marsupial may live in the canopy, but because of its mobility in the vegetation above the forest floor, called the understory. That's the forest floor, which in many rainforests, there's not a lot. Temperate rainforests tend to have a lot more, or they do have undergrowth. Whereas in rainforests, like different parts of the Amazon, Congo, it's a lot more limited. So, however, Koidoi Gono writes all previous studies on D. galoroides, the specific species of possum, have been conducted from the ground with no documentation of this species' ability to climb trees or how high they may reach. Following the clues from reported sightings, he and his colleagues found the mystery intriguing and decided it worth finding out firsthand just how high they climb. Huh, that is surprising. I would have thought that it was commonly documented this animal climbed trees, and apparently it's not, at least by the researchers, but by the locals it is. Along with Ivan Diaz, professor in charge of the Laboratory of Canopy Ecology and Biodiversity, Canopy Lab of the Universidad Austral de Chile, and Juan Luis Celis Diaz, professor at P. Universidad Católica de Valparaíso,
Jesus.
Godoy you know, began studies in 2017 in Bosque Plan Park. The park is a protected area owned by the Mar Adentro Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to promoting conservation of and education on biodiversity and to cultural development in the region. Researchers climbed high, 12 to 21 meters, or somewhere between 40 to 63 feet, into the treetops. Oh, yeah, that is challenging. To install the camera traps and patiently waited to capture images of this elusive marsupial. I thought it was just climbing up a hill. I thought it was a bit of a joke when it's trees that they're referring to. Installing the camera traps up there, probably taking them down too. That is quite something. After months of waiting and collecting data, the tiny creatures appeared within the highest camera trap's view, and it snapped hundreds of photos. Whoa! It's a little family of the possum. That's really good to see. They're just resting. I wonder how long they rest for, because I would assume they have quite high metabolisms, like shrews to an extent. I mean, shrews have very, um, they, it, it disappear.
What just happened?
Then you click something. I click the X.
No, I clicked this. Why did it?
But yeah, shrews are also even much smaller than these animals too, and many of them, or you also have a semi-aquatic shrew. Let's see. There's a few semi-aquatic shrews, but they're also entirely carnivorous. So let's see. Armed with proof that is a frequent climber to the highest point of the tallest trees, Godoy Ginu argues that the role of the Monito del Monte in the canopy is much more relevant to the biodiversity of the ecosystem than originally thought. One of its large roles lies in seed germination and dispersal. In the treetops of Chilean forests, previous studies by the Canopy Lab showed a great variety of air plants such as orchids, bromeliads, lichens, mosses, and ferns that grow within the trees. The Monito del Monte is a seed disperser of most of these plants. It eats wild fruits and swallows the seeds whole, which then pass through its digestive tract and are ready to germinate among excretion. Given the frequency with which the species visits these high places, it could be the main sower of the plants that make up this vertical garden. Additionally, it is an avid consumer of the insects that attack the foliage of these trees. Godoy Ginu hopes that continued study will shed light on the importance of the Monito del Monte in the treetops, as well learn more about the species. For now, he says this evidence suggests that it is perhaps the main or only mammal of the region that ventures into the heights of trees. That's actually kind of surprising. I was expecting a lot more arboreal mammals. And it can have a very influential role in the biodiversity of the South American temperate rainforests. There was somebody else that we saw recently. I'm not sure if it was the cougars or maybe a species of bird or amphibian that I'm thinking of. I thought it was a mammal that we saw in certain parts of these temperate rainforests in southern South America. Not hate me though. Am I confusing with a penguin? I'm not sure. Let's head over to the next video.
A penguin was hanging out in the rainforest?
Um, well, there are certain areas where you can see penguins, especially those off of the Antarctic coast, because only 5 species of penguin inhabit the Antarctic coast, or specifically also Antarctica. Um, and you can see where others are adjacent to. Oh yeah, there are. It's not hitting me what specific species, but they do roam into the forest in certain regions. Gosh, where is that? I'm not sure if it's maybe New Zealand. There is camera footage of them being over there. So let's check out the next video. This looks much further north. Well, oh, it's quite deciduous. Oh yeah, we're in Minnesota. Okay, so it looks like a healthy wolf, a healthy bear, a goose,
What is that?
beaver.
Oh,
Oh, she's got fledglings or goslings. Oh, it's a brown cinnamon colored black bear.
and he's having a snack?
It's beaver. Wow. Yeah, this beaver dam is definitely attracting a lot of individuals. There's a white-tailed doe with her fawn. It's got this great blue heron.
I was gonna try to eat the beaver.
Beaver again later in the winter. Buck looks exhausted, and an otter.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
These guys are actually patrolling for young beaver pups or beaver kittens.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. There's a red fox, wolf. Technically, these two are also patrolling for beavers. He's probably looking for small rodents. Maybe what was that? A red-tailed hawk, I think.
I can't believe they're not cold going in that water.
Yeah, that's how waterproof they are, as well as having an extra layer of fat.
Wait,
Oh, yeah, I think it's the same thing. Oh, it's from 2019. Hmm. Wonder if the beaver dam's still there.
did I do this one?
It's possible. Hmm. Okay, so heading over to the next article. So from news.monkabay.com, Africa's slender snouted crocodile is not one but two species. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Whoa. Okay. So I'm guessing it's also comparing with the possibly African Western crocodile. While the West African crocodile continues to retain its original name, Mesetops cataphractus. The Central African species has been named Mesetops lectopharynchus. Huh. So they almost gave it like a crocodilomorph, Jurassic metrorhynchid sea crocodile sort of name. At first glance, the slender snouted crocodiles living in Lake Tanganyika in Central Africa look very similar to the ones in the Gambia River in West Africa. Okay, well that's very West Africa. That's over in like Senegal, the Gambia, um, Guinea-Bissau. But as it turns out, the crocodile is not one but two distinct species, one unique to West Africa and the other to Central Africa. In fact, the Central African crocodile species is new to science. Researchers say in the study published in Zootaxa, making it the first new living crocodile species to be described in more than 80 years. The medium-sized slender-snouted crocodile belonging to the genus Mesetops is distributed throughout Africa west of the Rift Valley in lakes, rivers, and coastal lagoons. The genus was considered to have only one species, M. cataphractus, originally based on what the researchers say is a now lost specimen of unknown geographic origin. Subsequent attempts to describe the crocodile were also based on specimens with imprecise or unknown locality data and morphological characters. West, okay, west of the Rift Valley. Well, that's over in Ethiopia. So, possibly also certain parts of Kenya and maybe even South Sudan. So that makes sense. Somalia, I believe a bit of it, like near the Horn of Africa. Oh, well, he's holding several crocodile youngsters.
I hope he's not going to a fry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he specifically is not. At least I don't think he is. Okay, crocodile expert Matthew Shirley poses with juvenile Central African slender snouted crocodiles. Okay, so these are them. To clear up the taxonomic status of the slender snouted crocodiles across Africa, Matthew Shirley, a crocodile expert at Florida International University, US, and his colleagues. Oh, well, now they mentioned Florida, considering um, for some reason, fried alligator just wasn't hitting my mind. It's like, how could you? Now I'm like, oh, no, crocodile. And his colleagues analyzed the DNA and physical characteristics of several slender snouted crocodiles captured from the wild and in captivity from across 6 African countries. That's quite something. They found that the two crocodiles had subtle differences in their appearances, not easily discernible to the layperson. The West African slender snouted crocodiles have heavier scales and rougher skin compared to the Central African ones. That's surprising. I didn't know that. That's quite a distinct difference. I really wonder why. Maybe. Yeah, that is interesting considering the Central African ones are more likely to bump into maybe Nile crocodile populations because Nile crocodiles are not found over in Western Africa. And, well, you can even say to a major extent Central Africa too. But the larger differences lie in their DNA. The two species seem to have diverged some 6.5 million to 7.5 million years ago. Wow, they've actually been around for quite a while when it comes to certain crocodilian species of today, coinciding with the formation of a change of volcanoes along the border region between Cameroon and Nigeria. So Nigeria, you could say somewhat Cameroon might be Western Africa, but it will also be classified as Central. So Nigeria is just northwest of Cameroon, which likely acted as a biogeographic barrier, while the West African crocodile continues to retain its original name. Mesetops cataphractus in the Central African species has been named Mesetops bleptorhynchus. As a single species, the crocodile was already listed as critically endangered in the IUCN Red List, threatened mainly by hunting, overfishing, crocodiles feed on fish, and habitat loss. So, wow. So now it's two species. Their respective populations are even lower. So recognizing the slender snouted crocodile is actually comprised of two different species is cause for great conservation concern. We estimate only 10% of slender snouted crocodiles occur in West Africa, effectively diminishing its population by 90%. This makes the West African slender snouted crocodile one of the most critically endangered crocodile species in the world. Yeah, this is not good. I mean, this is like Garrow over in India bad, or Chinese alligator. We hope that this better understanding of slender snouted crocodile evolution and taxonomy draws much
Is
needed
he eaten
attention.
with rice?
Is he eaten with rice? Oh gosh, probably occasionally. Like I wouldn't. If you saw that thing, you wouldn't want to eat it, or at least no, you wouldn't. It's literally a dwarf. The Chinese alligator doesn't get much more than 4 to 5 feet, or 1.6 meters, and they're quite small. They really do have a very shortened skull length compared to their body size. We hope that this better understanding of slender snouted crocodile evolution and taxonomy draws much needed attention to the plight of this species, which has long been recognized as the least known crocodilian in the world. Oh, well, there he is again. Okay, so it's a slender snouted crocodile. Well, one of them. Maybe it's the Central African one. Said that the Central African one had smoother scales. Oh, that's it. Eh, okay. Well, let's head over to the final article.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
I have
or
one left.
another video. Next video. So, a valuable lesson on the hazards of litter for wildlife. Oh boy, what's going on here? Who got stuck? Some sort of a mustelid got stuck inside of a.
It's a bear
Oh, it's a
cub.
bear cub. That's a black bear cub. Oh, yeah, he's going to be a bit feisty, but he wants that off too.
How's he even breathing in there?
Probably small air pockets. I think it was a peanut butter jar. Well, he's definitely quite thankful, though he's a bit shocked. Hopefully, his mother's around too, as well as maybe his other sibling. I'm guessing he probably wasn't in it for too long, though I can't tell his overall, health. His fur seems okay.
He's in shock. He's just sitting there.
There's also water right behind him too.
But I meant there's a person staying there. He's not running off.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm. I'm kind of wondering where the adult is. Oh, well, they got it off of him. So, the final article from getaway.co.za. Hmm. Spring hair, the kangaroo like bunny that turns out to be fluorescent. Looks like a relative of the jerboa. The jerboa, I'm guessing, lives much further north compared to the spring hare. And there he is. He's a very good looking animal.
well, that's
I believe he's a species of rodent.
looks almost like a rabbit.
Yeah, unless he's a distant relative of the lagomorph family. I don't
Well,
believe he's a lagomorph though. Like
he has
the
a long tail.
yeah, like the oh, huh. That's quite interesting. Wait, did it say something about that?
Or-
Mm, Oh, so that's why it showed that picture.
So it is a rabbit. Wait.
Um,
Oh no, it's a kangaroo, like bunny. I don't know.
no,
What does that mean?
it's not hitting me what specific family of mammals this belongs to, because there are like for say hares are not rabbits. They have their own distinct characteristics. Is it a kangaroo? Is it a rabbit? No, it's a spring hare. If you are confused by this animal, not to worry. It's been baffling biologists for some time. The spring hare is an unusual rodent species that looks like a cross between a rabbit and a kangaroo. Could have said jerboa, and is also a keystone species in South Africa. Recent research has revealed that they are also fluorescent under UV light. Let's see. There's a side view. It's like a healthy individual. He's got pretty large thigh muscles and pretty like even, guess you could say, shin and long ankle bones. Those are just his toes that he's standing on, and then quite a long tail, but it's curved. Look at that. That's weird. Unless it's just the fur.
Or he broke his tail.
Maybe. It turns out that spring hares are keystone species in the ecosystems they occur. Okay, let's see. These unusual animals were once grouped with jerboas, or jumping rodents, then porcupines, then scaly tailed squirrels, before they were allotted into their own family, Pedetidae. Oh, okay. So it's its own group of rodents. This refers to a family of mammals of the rodent of order, of which spring hares are the only living members. This is not surprising within different lineages of mammals, possibly even reptiles to an extent. Well, many orders of animals. They're just within their own family. These unusual, oh, okay. This animal has well developed hind legs and can jump to a height of 2 meters or 6.5 feet. Whoa.
Wow.
Are we
That
sure?
little thing?
Are we sure it's not height and maybe length?
Maybe that's where they messed up because that would be insane for that little thing.
This is impressive when you consider that these diminutive animals are only 35 to 45 centimeters tall, weighing in at 4 kilograms or a little over 2 pounds. Oh, not 2 pounds. I think around what?
9.
Yeah, 9, 10 pounds. The spring hare is a cute looking creature with reddish brown to a pale gray and a characteristic black tipped tail. They're incredibly elusive and difficult to spot, so consider yourself lucky if you see one. Little is known about this species. Oh, I thought there was quite a bit. Apparently not. But they seem to be abundant and widespread in protected areas throughout their range, which includes savanna and semi arid regions of South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, and Zambia. So, yeah, southern sub Saharan Africa. So, the ZA of this article probably refers to Zambia. Let's see. He looks very focused. So, studies have tried to estimate the living population, and based on area surveys, they estimate that there is between 2 million and 11 million spring hare in South Africa. Whoa. I'd be careful with that estimate. That seems like immense.
That's a big stretch too.
And I would think that these animals would often be mentioned, and they're not. I think this
Well,
seems like a
didn't they
bit of
say
a
they're kind of elusive?
oh well, yeah, this is true, but still, I mean, let's see. So spring hare burrows provide shelter and core areas for foraging at least 20 other mammals. Interesting. They're almost like the prairie dogs of the area because prairie dogs do actually help with the soil and the different areas that they inhabit in American grasslands. Three birds, six reptiles, and 22 invertebrate species. This includes other threatened species such as Temminck's ground pangolin and the black-footed cat, which is its own distinct species of wild cat. But it's good to see that there are pangolins around here too. So slurping up any ants or termites in the region. They also form an important prey component with the food chain of all ecosystems they occur. While kangaroos are renowned for their hopping ability, they could a spring hare outdo them at their own game. Dr. Ned Snelling, a senior lecturer in the Department of Anatomy and Physiology at the University of Pretoria's um, Faculty of Veterinary Science, suggests they can. In a study in the Journal of Anatomy, Snelling and his team assessed the muscle tendon design of the hind limbs of spring hares and compared it against 16 Australian hoppers or marsupials. What the study revealed is that spring hares have specially adapted thicker tendons, which aids quicker and more accelerative hopping. This means that spring hare is a faster and more agile hopper than marsupials, and the reasoning for this is that spring hares occur in predator dense environments, requiring quick maneuverability to evade capable hunters such as a black footed cat. They are fluorescent. A scientific report published in Nature revealed that their coat glows a patchy pinkish orange when under UV light. Fluorescence is a material property where certain pigments can absorb UV light and re-emit as vibrant colors. This characteristic is usually prevalent in some amphibians and scorpions, but it is not usually found in mammals. Whoa, looks like a certain like cake or a dessert or even like a cupcake in some instances.
It looks not real.
Yeah, that too. That is quite interesting. It's almost like one of those characters. I can't think of what movie.
I would also think that when certain light hits them, animals could see them at night.
Oh, yeah, that too. But it also, kinda reminds me of the beginning of Guardian of the Galaxy where Chris Pratt is kicking those little bipedal, jumping things, except they wanted to eat you and, they were almost furless, and he's eating like a cracker of some sort. What on earth? What's going on down here? You need to explain yourself. Um,
He's a baker.
yeah, it seems that way. Researchers hypothesize that biofluorescence in mammals may be ecologically important for nocturnal mammals and that it may be more broadly distributed than previously thought. The paper states that our understanding of the visual capacities of various species develops. We are realizing that many species are capable of seeing the world throughout a different lens, and that, in addition to or as an alternative to visible light, approximately 400 to 700 nm. I think it has something to do with light measurement. Other wavelengths of light may be ecologically important. Spring hares are predominantly solitary and forage in open spaces with sparse vegetation, such as the semi arid regions of the Karoo. Thus, we hypothesize that the patchiness of biofluorescence in spring hares could function as a camouflage of sorts, but this would depend on the UV sensitivity of their predators. With predators such as snakes and cats having a different visual acuity to humans, The biofluorescence could help evade predators by absorbing wavelengths that would otherwise be brightly reflected and emitting less visible ones. It seems as though biofluorescence biofluorescence serves as a sort of camouflage for spring hares in a world completely out of perceptive ability. Um, so yeah, interesting. It is a really big question, at least for me, as to why or how this specific type of biofluorescent pigment would benefit them. Because you would think that, especially the cats, could see them in the landscape. Maybe jackals,
Maybe it blends them into something?
hawks, vultures. Maybe
I would
that's.
think when they're running or hopping, it
I can't think though. Now you could say, certain animals they see different colors.
oh, maybe it
Um,
blocks out the colors they can see?
maybe that's a guess. This is really odd. Definitely haven't seen this before. I mean, you have literally a little jumping cake in the landscape at night. So this is quite interesting. Now, I don't know what specifically this animal feeds on. I think maybe it's an
It never mentioned.
I think it might be an herbivore. Um I'm guessing that because of these what is it? The ecology or just the different not necessarily symbiotic relationships, but the benefits that it has on the soil compared to or like what you see all these different species of reptiles, birds, and vertebrates benefiting off of it. Now you could say, well, most species of creatures, you have different species of animals that benefit off of them or different types of organisms. So I guess I'm just going to have to take a look. So into the spring here. But also apparently it said there's not much known about the animal. So maybe it's still a bit of a question because of how elusive they are and they haven't established certain trail cameras or underground burrow cameras to see what's going on. So maybe give an insight. Do they also maybe stash um, bits of vegetation or I haven't really heard of it with insects. Certainly possible. So that's a big question. Well, thanks for joining. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. And remember that nothing is better than all animals all the time. We'll see you tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, Monday.